And today I am going to show you how to install a LAMP server on Ubuntu 24. Yeah, what's LAMP? Basically, LAMP is a set of software that includes Linux. Yes, exactly where we are going to install it, which is on Ubuntu 24, and Apache, the M of MySQL, the P of PHP. That is, we have the operating system, the web server, the database by MySQL PHP that comes to be the programming language. Okay, so well, when you have already installed a lab server on your computer or also on your server, you will be able to use it for your project, for your laboratory. Well, for you guys, what you really want, right? Now, before going to the process in which I am going to show you the installation, I want to clarify one thing, that although I say there in the title and so on that it is for Ubuntu 24, yes, I am going to do it from a Linux Mint 22 distribution. But Linux 22 is based on Ubuntu 24, so in this case it would be the same. Yes, and it will also serve you if you want to install it on a Debian server. Okay? So nothing, everyone who is based on Debian from the same version, yes, compared to the same version, they will be able to install it without problem. Well, and before moving on to the video, thank the special members of the channel who are the ones who subscribe. They put the join button and also those who subscribe. Yes, and if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. So well, now let's go full video. Well, I'm already here within the distribution and within the operating system. And well, what they are going to do is open the terminal, which is where we are going to start executing the commands. The first thing I'm going to do to work with administrator permissions, with root permissions, is to log in as root with her script. I'm going to put my password, in this case, the one you can obviously put. And what we're going to do first is update the system. Yes, in case there is some package that has to be updated, with a pt space fude we give it to give to enter. And if it asks us for confirmation, in case it is necessary, we are going to put the soft yes or the y in case they have the operating system to go. Not in English. Well, it's finished updating there. I'm going to do a clear for the screen, and the first thing we are going to install now is the Apache web server. For this, we are simply going to put pt space install Apache 2 space. Yes, I give you enter here when you ask me to continue. I put the S, press enter, and now once you finish, let's verify that Apache is really installed and running well. All in all, it is quite fast. So, well, there it was installed well. The first thing we are going to do is with the command system ptl space status space apache dos give you enter. Notice that Apache dos is already active running since it is running. Yes, I press the Q now if I open the Firefox browser and set localhost now. Would this have to show me Apache? Yes, I'm going to close this here. Well, notice that Apache 2 tells me this is the default page and it tells me it's work. Yes, it is working. Well, great. Perfect. I'm going to minimize it just in case. Another thing that is important about the web server is that it starts the service if we restart the server. For this, we have to do it with systemctl space in evil. Apache space 2, the net, and notice that here it is ready. I have synchronized the state for boot level. The operating system is going to raise Apache 2. Well, we already have Apache 2 installed there. Yes. Now what we are going to install is MySQL or MariaDB. Yes, this is going to be what manages the database, right? So for this, we are going to make pt space install space MariaDB script of the half pig. They put the S that if you enter, and there it will also take a little while to finish installing. Well, he's already settled there. Now we're going to do the same thing we did with Apache. We are going to verify that MySQL or majority DB at home is running. It consists of ctl status yes MySQL. Sometimes it is directly You see MySQL MariaDB service already tells us it is active and running. Obviously, if you want, you can also put MariaDBY here. She would have to show you the same thing, both active and current. Perfect. Well, there it is already up in the database. We are going to do the same thing we did today also to enable the service once it restarts, or we start the equipment from scratch, that will automatically lift. So we are going to do systemctl in the MySQL space and see a question. This one did appear to us suddenly and tells us that it synchronized it to start well. We are going to make an initial security configuration for MySQL. For this we have to put MySQL where the low secure and where the low installation are going to give enter. And here what is going to ask us is what is the favor that we currently have. That in this case we are going to give enter because we don't have any. Well, then here in this case, switch to UNX Soccer, they tell you no. If you want to change the password, you can change it here, or you can change that later. By command, yes. For exercise, are we going to leave it like this? Yes, because we are going to have it locally. So I'm going to say that I do not recommend that you do it later. In any case, they can do it at this moment. They say yes, and it will ask for the password. They are going to have it removed by anonymous users. They are going to say yes to this one because we are not going to need it. So we put and disable the road login so that it is remote. This refers to the SSH condition. So that you can enter the database using another computer's router, I am going to leave this disabled because it is insecure. It is also advisable to create a new user for the database so that it can be connected remotely. So we are going to disable Rulogen. I put the IE on it, and we're also going to delete the test database. So I put the IDIS reload privileged out. That is, we are going to reload the tables yes. This is basically so that the changes are applied. And well, here it doesn't say Svantium for using by. Well, if I want to enter the database, I am simply going to put my SQL -u with the root user because until now we have not created any less. What would be password? And I give enter. Since I didn't enter any password now for the exercise, I'm just going to enter it. If you put another password in this previous process, you will put your password and you will enter here. To what the database is. Yes, if you then want to manage the database there, because you don't really know how to use it from the terminal and prefer to do it in graphical mode, you could install PHP afterwards if you want. Yes, the truth is that I still recommend using it directly from the terminal because if not, they are going to put more things on the server, right? And here if I put show database, for example, notice that here, well, we have the database that it creates for us by default, and well, yes, now it is MySQL, which would be to select that database. I am already standing on the MySQL Y database. Here I can make a shop tails, or I can create nothing. I can create new users, new tables, databases, etc. Good. Well, I'm going out here with the yes, PA. So well, we already have the database too, and now I'm going to install what PHP is. Before installing PHP, I am going to do with the command apt search PHP. What I am going to do here is search precisely within the repositories that I have. What is the newest version? Yeah, and mind you, I think it was down here. Well, PHP 8.3 is the newest version we have here to install. So if I install PHP now, I should install that version. If not, we can also set it in the package. Now I'm going to install PHP, the PHP module with Apache, and the PHP module to work with the database. So this is apt install PHP space live Apache space. 2, and in the middle mod and in the middle PHP, then the other module PHPY, in the middle MySQL I do give enter. Here I put the S to continue. Note that here it is also very important before it is installed, I can give the version of PHP that I am going to install, and affirmatively it is 803H. So we are fine. I give you the SD that is good, and everything related to PHP was installed there. Now to verify that PHP is installed correctly, we can first do 1p PHP-B for example, and notice that the version PHP is going to throw us 3.6, and we can create a file within the folder of the Apache web server. Yes, by default it will have the folder to save, let's say, everything that the site is otherwise in triple var or slight HTML bar. Yeah, in here. Notice that if we do 1ls, we already have an index here, which is the one that shows us at the beginning, that tells us ink works. Yes, here, if I see it with a cat, obviously it will look like all the text, but basically it is what I showed you at the beginning when we tried no. Well, here I am going to create a file that is going to be called info.php. Yes, I'm going to do it with Vi, for example, or I can do it with nano to make it easier for you. Nano space and php dot, that is going to make me create this file, and here I am going to put this syntax in this way. Yes, lower PHP question mark. Yes, enter IE below, and I'm going to put the PHP info function in parentheses like this, and I close with a big question mark. Well, now I put Ctrl X to exit. When I ask myself if I want to save it, I'm going to put that D yes. The name of the file is iPHP. I enter, well, and here I will have already created this PHP info. So if I go to this page here, localhost, and put the info bar, PHP, notice that it is going to load all this with my system, with all these directories. Where do I get the configuration? What modules do I have installed from PHP? Yes, here I can see several configurations that PHP has and what they are in and so on. This is quite useful when it comes to that type of information. Yeah, and obviously this is for testing. If I'm not going to leave this on the server, then I'll delete it. It's to show you that nothing, that it was functioning correctly. Well, now also what we can do is modify the way Apache handles PHP files. Yes, that is, let it be the first option A when loading the files into a directory. That is, let it not raise me, for example, HTML, but in general what refers to PHP. For this, I am going to go to the folder etc bar apache 2 bar mods enable. And inside here, there should be a file that is dir.com. Well, we are going to dictate it with nano.dir.com. And notice that this is like this index directory. And first there is HTML, then this PHP index here. I'm going to delete, and we are going to move forward. Here, index. PHP walk there, Control X, we say yes, we want to save it, we give enter. And now when if for example I go to part.html here, we had two files today, index, HTMLY info, PHP, I'm going to make a copy of PHPY info, I'm going to index it, PHL, okay, so now I have an index file, PHPY. Another index, HTML. If I now drive the host crazy without anything, well, always when I make changes to the configuration, it is advisable for me to do a system reload or restart Apache 2. The changes will already be applied there. I also already have the HTML index, the PHP index. If I delete the index here, HTML. Well, notice that I have already deleted the HTML here, and it directly shows me what I put in the index, PHP, right there after I update the changes. Okay, so now you have a fully functional LAMP server here, obviously ready to host your project, your website, etc. And obviously there are a lot of additional configurations that can be made for both Apache 2 and several sites and so on. But hey, that would be related to other videos that if you want we can update and show them. But hey, that's all for today. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, give him a like and subscribe to my channel. If it's okay, see you next. Bye bye.